Breakups often leave behind a burning question: will she ever come back? This uncertainty fuels sleepless nights and restless thoughts. But Stoic philosophy shifts the focus. Instead of waiting for her return, you reclaim your strength, your peace, and your dignity, making the outcome almost irrelevant. 1. The Stoic understanding of loss. The Stoics taught that all external things, wealth, status, relationships, are not fully within our control. Epictetus put it plainly: some things are up to us, and some are not. When you go through a breakup, the most painful part often isn't just her absence, it's the loss of control. You want answers, closure, or reassurance. You want the past to return. Yet Stoicism reminds us: her decision is outside your control. Your reaction is within your control. To dwell endlessly on whether she will come back is to hand over your inner peace to circumstances you cannot govern. The Stoics would argue that this very attachment to outcomes creates suffering. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of the pain after a breakup comes from imagining different futures, her being with someone else, her never returning, or her returning but things not being the same. All of this is mental storytelling. The Stoic path is to step back and see the distinction between what is and what you fear. 2. Love, loss, and the nature of impermanence. Stoics believe that everything borrowed from life eventually returns. A relationship, no matter how beautiful, is never fully yours, it is given to you temporarily. Just as you cannot cling to youth, health, or wealth forever, you cannot guarantee the permanence of a lover. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of impermanence: soon you will have forgotten all things, and all things will have forgotten you. This wasn't meant to depress but to liberate. When you see love as a temporary gift rather than a possession, you learn to appreciate it without clinging. So, if she left after a breakup, the Stoic approach isn't to obsess about her return but to acknowledge it was always possible. It is part of nature's flow. Your peace should not depend on it. Ironically, this detachment can sometimes make reconciliation more likely, because neediness and desperation push people away, while calmness and self-possession attract. But the Stoic never counts on it, he focuses only on what is in his hands. 3. The danger of asking, will she come back? When you frame your healing around her return, you fall into emotional slavery. Your happiness becomes conditional. Stoicism teaches that the highest freedom is autarkia, self-sufficiency. Epictetus would say, if your peace depends on another person's decision, then you are not free. You are like a ship tossed by waves, controlled by forces beyond your command. Instead, the question should shift. Not will she return, but how do I return to myself? Not does she still love me, but do I love myself enough to endure? Once you embrace this mindset, you begin to reclaim your power. The result? Whether she comes back or not loses its sting, you are already whole. 4. Self-mastery after a breakup. The Stoic response to heartbreak is not suppression but transformation. They did not advocate becoming cold, but becoming resilient. Here's how self-mastery applies. Control your mind, notice intrusive thoughts: she's happy without me, I'll never find someone else. Instead of fusing with them, step back and say, this is just a thought, not truth. Practice negative visualization, imagine she never returns. Let yourself sit with that possibility, not to torture yourself, but to prepare. If you can accept the worst calmly, then reality can never surprise you. Live in accordance with virtue, Marcus Aurelius wrote that the only good is virtue, not pleasure or approval. Use this period to refine your character, honesty, courage, discipline, and wisdom. These are things no breakup can take away. Rebuild with action, exercise, journaling, learning new skills, serving others, all ground you in constructive living. The Stoics valued action over rumination. 5. Real-life Stoic reflections. Imagine Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, losing someone dear. His writings show a man who felt pain but refused to be broken by it. He constantly reminded himself that he must do what life demands of him, regardless of loss. Now think of your breakup. You cannot dictate her emotions, her choices, or the unfolding of time. but you can dictate how you rise. If a Roman emperor, burdened with wars and betrayals, could maintain calm, so can you in the aftermath of love lost. 6. Practical Stoic exercises for healing. Here are some concrete ways to apply Stoicism post-breakup. Journaling in the style of Marcus Aurelius. Each night, write about your emotions and remind yourself of what lies within your control. The dichotomy of control. Draw 2 columns. On one side, write things you control, your habits, your response. On the other, things you don't, her choices, her return. Focus only on the first column. Amor fati, love of fate. Instead of resisting the breakup, say yes to it. Treat it as part of your destiny, shaping you into a stronger man. The view from above, visualize your life from a cosmic perspective. From high above, one breakup is but a small event in the vastness of existence. Memento mori, remember your mortality. Life is short, why waste it waiting for someone who may never return? 7. If she does come back. When you stop waiting, you often grow in ways that make you more attractive, not because you schemed for it, but because you became stronger. If she comes back, the Stoic question is not how do I keep her, but does this align with my virtue and my growth? A reunion is not automatically victory, it must still serve your higher self. Epictetus would remind you, do not rejoice simply because circumstances favor you, but because you have remained true to your principles. If reconciliation happens, accept it with gratitude but without attachment. 8. If she never comes back. And if she never returns? Then life continues, as it must. The Stoic stands firm, seeing every ending as the soil of a new beginning. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Do not waste your days in waiting. Instead, live. Become a man of character, a man whose worth is not defined by another's presence. 9. The deeper Stoic truth. In the end, the Stoic answer to did she come back after a breakup is this: it does not matter. What matters is how you conducted yourself in her absence. Breakups test not just your heart but your philosophy of life. If you emerge from heartbreak calmer, wiser, and more independent, then you have already won, regardless of her return. The Stoics were never against love, but they refused to let love enslave them. They understood that human connections are precious but fragile, beautiful but impermanent. To love well is to love without clinging, to accept loss without despair, and to remain whole in solitude. Conclusion. Did she come back after a breakup? Stoic philosophy teaches that this is the wrong question. Instead, the right question is, did I come back to myself? Whether she returns or not is a matter of fate, beyond your command. But how you endure, rebuild, and embody strength, that is yours to decide. The Stoics would say, do not wait for someone else to restore your peace. Stand firm, live with virtue, and embrace whatever life gives with dignity. In that spirit, her return is no longer the focus. The true victory is realizing you never needed it to begin with.